Hello friends, today we are going to discuss one of the important topics of Indian geography. This is related to the physiography of India. In physiography, we have three parts. One is peninsular India, second is the northern plains, and the third one is Himalayas. So when we discuss about the peninsular India, one segment we find which occupies one of the major areas of peninsular India. This is the region of Deccan Plateau, right? So the topic today is the study of Deccan Plateau as a physiographic divisions of India. Now, when you consider the peninsular region, now this is the region of peninsula. Here is the Western Ghat. Now, when you move from Western Ghat towards the interior, this region is occupied by a large landmass here, which extends up to almost the southern part of southern tip of peninsular India. This is known as the Deccan Plateau, right? So, this is the region of Deccan Plateau, which is attached on one side to the Western Ghat, and on the other side here we are having the Eastern Ghat. So, Eastern Ghats constitute the eastern boundary of the Deccan Plateau. Now, we will study this topic in these many segments. Number one, we have to understand what is the origin of Deccan Plateau, how it came into existence. Number two, we'll study about what are the physiographic divisions of Deccan Plateau divisions, and third, we can study about how are the climatic conditions of the Deccan Plateau, and fourth, we have to look at how is Deccan Plateau acting as the ecological region or biogeographic region. In the sense that fourth part we are trying to understand how is the flora and fauna and biodiversity of this region. Consider here the type of forests that are present over the region of Deccan Plateau. Now, let us begin with how this plateau has come into existence. How is the formation of a Deccan Plateau? For this, we will be looking at the theory of continental drift. So, as you are aware that in continental drift, there was formation of a Indian landmass. So, this triangular landmass of India was created and it was separated from Africa. So, this is African landmass and this was the Indian landmass, and this separation was around 200 million year before present. Now, after the formation of this triangular landmass, it went on drifting towards the north. So, this landmass was moving towards the north. So, what is the period of formation of this? This is during Mesozoic era. So, Mesozoic era is from 250 million years to 66 million years. This was the period of Mesozoic, time period of Mesozoic, and Indian landmass was created during the Mesozoic. It was separation of India from Africa. Now, this landmass is moving northward, and over a period we can see on the western side of peninsular India there was a configuration of a western Ghat. So, we have discussed earlier how this western Ghat came into existence, and the slope of India got oriented towards the eastern side. Matlab, the western part of India was uplifted and it was inclined towards the eastern side. By the end of Mesozoic era, this is 66 million year before present, when India was traveling further, this Indian landmass came over one active mantle plume. Now, what is mantle plume? This is something like a thermal convection that is coming from deep interior of earth. So, there was an active mantle plume. You can understand this as something like an active volcano. Mantle plume is something like active volcano which is emerging from interior of the earth, and this is referred as reunion hotspot. This mantle plume emerged from the reunion hotspot, and this was happening around 66 million year before present, right? So here suppose you take this as a triangular landmass of India, and what is happening to this landmass? This landmass was moving over this reunion hotspot. Now as it came over this reunion, and it has traveled over the reunion hotspot like this, right? So it has traveled in this way. It went on traveling over the reunion, and wherever it interacted with this mantle plume, the volcanic eruption has occurred. So here, as this reunion hotspot erupted, so there was huge quantity of lava that is coming out, and this lava got accumulated and it has spread here, and this is resulting in formation of one tableland. So Deccan Plateau was created by volcanic eruption. So here we can include that it was the result of volcanic eruption. It was end of Mesozoic. Then it is, now is it erupting at one place? No, it has erupted at multiple places. Therefore, it is known as fissure type of eruption. Fissure type. And as the volcano is from greater depth, this magma chamber was located at greater depth. So here this is made up of mafic magma. What do you mean by mafic magma? Mafic is where the silica content in the magma is relatively less. So here the amount of silica that is present in the magma was less, and we know that if the silica content is less, the viscosity is also less. So because the relationship between silica content and viscosity is this, that is, it is directly proportional. So when the magma is coming from deep interior of the earth, this is with very less proportion of silica. How is this magma? This is going to be more fluidic in nature. Fluidic in the sense it can easily flow. When it comes to the surface, it can easily spread on the surface. That is how when this volcanic eruption has occurred, it was with mafic magma, which has very high quantity of magnesium and iron. The silica content here will be less, and this magma has traveled. So when it is coming out, see, western side there was already a barrier. Therefore, the flow of magma was towards the eastern side, and it got accumulated from west to east, right? So this is how the Deccan Plateau was created by fissure eruption with mafic magma, and when this is there, there will be formation of a basaltic rock. So the composition of Deccan Plateau is a basaltic igneous rock. Now here, so if you take a cross section, how is Deccan Plateau appearing? So here is, this is a Western Ghat, and after Western Ghat we can see this is the structure of the plateau, and here is the Eastern Ghat. So the peninsular, if you take a cross section of peninsular India, this is appearing in this format. So this part is Western Ghat, and after Western Ghat, this much region, see, this part is where the volcanic eruption has occurred and the height of the Deccan Plateau. So this is the region of Deccan Plateau, and towards the eastern side, this will be Eastern Ghat. So if you see the structure of Deccan Plateau, as the volcanic eruption was maximum on the western side, attached to the Ghat, it has reached its maximum height. So it is reaching the height of around 1000 meter. But if you move towards eastern part, the height of the Deccan Plateau goes on decreasing, and it shows a step-like structure, and it has reached up to 300 meter on the eastern side. So this is how the structure of the Deccan Plateau is. So, अगर इसको map में देखा जाए, so how it is? So, this is the region of peninsula and this is the western Ghat. So, from west to east, the height of the Deccan Plateau goes on decreasing, right? So, this has a step like, it means that the maximum amount of eruption has occurred attached to western Ghat, and towards the eastern Ghat there was a spread of lava. Towards the eastern side there was a spread of lava, and this formulated into one step like structure, and this structure of Deccan Plateau, which is also known as a trapen or trap structure. Thus, we use a word Deccan Trap. So, this word trap is indicating a stepped topography. This is a stepped topography of a Deccan Plateau. So, composition is basaltic and it is having a step-like structure towards the eastern Ghat. The maximum elevation of Deccan is around 1000 meter attached to western Ghat, and towards the eastern Ghat it has come down to as low as 300 meters. So, this is how we see the structure. Now, so this part is origin. Now, you are aware, so Deccan Plateau was created end of Mesozoic. It was created at the end of Mesozoic era. Now, if you analyze, when it was a fissure type of eruption, fissure in the sense magma is coming out through many vents. So, most of the vent have erupted here. This was the majority of vent, but some of the volcanic eruption has occurred outside this region. So, we can see the extension of Deccan Plateau here. So, this is the formation of Malwa. मतलब एक वेंट यहाँ भी erupt हुआ है. So, Malwa Plateau is also considered as geological extension of Deccan. We can see the formation of some volcanic rock. This is there as a part of Chota Nagpur Plateau. So, some eruption during the same time has occurred in Chota Nagpur, and to the easternmost side we can see some of the volcanic eruption occurring in the region of Meghalaya. So, these are the three additional places apart from the main region of Deccan Plateau. These are the three additional places where we can see a volcanic eruption. Now, how it will help you in exam is the Deccan Plateau is made up of basaltic rock, and basaltic rock has supported formation of a black soil. So, if you are asked apart from Deccan, what are the regions of black soil? You can see it is Malwa, some area of Chota Nagpur. Even in case of Meghalaya, we find the occurrence of black soil. This is because these regions were under the influence of volcanic eruption during the period of formation of Deccan Plateau. Now, so this is the first aspect what we have discussed, that how Deccan Plateau has come into existence and what is the topographical condition. Now, another important aspect of Deccan is, so if you are asked like whether life existed before the formation of Deccan Plateau, ये जो triangular landmass है, this was obviously with flora and fauna, because here we are talking about Mesozoic. Now, when you say Mesozoic is further divided into three periods. They say Triassic, Jurassic, and this is end of Mesozoic, so it is Cretaceous. In the sense that India already has experienced Triassic period. India also has experienced Jurassic. There were dinosaurs that were existing over the Indian landscape, right? And with all this life form, with all this flora and fauna, India got placed over the reunion hotspot, or India has experienced this volcanic eruption, and there is a huge amount of lava coming out and it is spreading over the Indian region. Now, what will happen to all this life? जो कुछ flora and fauna India landmass पे था, all this is getting eliminated. So, the area of Deccan, if you see the biodiversity of Deccan, all this was eliminated. So, we can write in this context also that the Deccan Plateau was responsible for mass extinction of a species that were existing over the Indian region. So this has happened during end of Meso. So this was known as Cretaceous, Paleogene extinction. So Cretaceous Paleogene extinction, this is considered as the mass extinction caused by formation of Deccan Plateau, and this Cretaceous Paleogene extinction also corresponds with, मतलब यही पीरियड में there was also a phase of global extinction. So there is a overlap. Cretaceous Paleogene extinction is the same period. In the same period, if you see globally, there was a mass extinction going on due to the climate change, right? So this is one aspect of Deccan. So what will happen to all this biodiversity? The biodiversity got eliminated here. There was formation of a new basaltic rock. So it is around 66 to 65 million year before present. So Cretaceous is a sub period of Mesozoic. Paleogene is a start of Cenozoic era. So we have Paleo, and after that it is Ceno. So you should remember this also. Mesozoic is divided into three. This is Triassic, Jurassic and Cretaceous. This is end. This is 66, ended 66 million year, and after Mesozoic it was Cenozoic, and Cenozoic started with Paleogene, right? So therefore it is known as end of Cretaceous and start of Paleogene. So this is Cretaceous Paleogene mass extinction. तो अब Deccan Plateau जब बन रहा था, the lava eliminated all the species. After eliminating all these things, the new rocks were created, new soil began, new, we can say, climatic condition was set up, and after that life has begun on Deccan Plateau. So more or less we can say that the beginning of life on the Deccan was from scratch, because lava, it did not leave anything. So everything got eliminated. From zero the life began. That is why if we want to trace the history of biodiversity here, if you take Deccan Plateau, how far we can go back into the history of Deccan Plateau in terms of biodiversity, it is only up to 65 million year. We do not have any record of how was the life before it, because it was erased. But if you see outside Deccan, anywhere in Eastern Ghat or these areas, we still have the record of biodiversity prevailing to older than 66 million years. That is why there is uniqueness of biodiversity over Deccan Plateau. This is coming with relatively new species, and after that whatever climatic conditions got established over Deccan, this has resulted in certain specific type of flora and fauna. Jैसे it is mostly dominated by a tropical deciduous vegetation, right? So this is something we should be looking at, how Deccan Plateau came into existence. From exam point of view, all these are important. So it was more a product of fissure and mafic type of eruption. Now, second important aspect of Deccan is look at what are physiographic divisions of Deccan Plateau. Now, in divisions, so divisions of Deccan Plateau, we divide the Deccan Plateau into three parts. One is Maharashtra Plateau. Then it is number two is Telangana Plateau. This is the eastern part, and then is the Karnataka Plateau. So these are the three important divisions of Deccan. So if you see this here, this is the region of Deccan. So attached to, we can show it like this. So this is Maharashtra Plateau, this one is Telangana Plateau, and this one is Karnataka Plateau. So the segment of Deccan attached to Sahyadri of Western Ghat, that will be known as Maharashtra Plateau. What is attached to the middle segment of Western Ghat, this is Karnataka, and eastern side, this is known as Telangana. So Maharashtra segment is the widest and most elevated. Here the height goes up to 1000 meter, while the minimum elevation you will find here in case of Karnataka. Here we can divide Karnataka into two parts, the western and eastern. So two divisions of Karnataka Plateau is, one is Malnad. This is Malnad segment of Karnataka, and then it is Maidan. So what is Malnad? Malnad is the mountainous region, or you can write it as hilly region, which is attached to Western Ghat. मतलब this western segment जो Western Ghat से attach है, that will be known as Malnad segment. While if you move towards the eastern side, this part, eastern side, here the plateau has become more flat, right? Towards the eastern side, it becomes more flat and low lying. This segment of flat topography is known as Maidan. Maidan is a flat region of Deccan Plateau, right? So in brief, when we want to study Deccan, we consider these are the three important areas of Deccan Plateau, and then we will be elaborating into how this each segment has its features. So these are the two important things we should be relating, and then look into we'll look at how this can be related with atlas or mapping, so that we can understand the drainage here, like Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri flowing into this area.